What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So the last we left off, we were in Arizona. We actually made it successfully back to Colorado. It took us about 12 hours to get back here. And I finally wanted to give you guys an update video and let you guys know what I think of the car. So as you can see, we've got Pikes Peak in the background. We've got the car sitting here. So let's go on a little tour and I'm gonna show you guys the car. All right, guys, so as you can see, I got the 19-inch rims. They're painted black with the blue calipers. I might change that to match the car. Some people have left in the comment section that the blue looks a little bit funky with the red, and I kind of agree. I'm not sure why Ford did that. So I might change those to red. But just so you guys know, there's two different options for tires on these guys. I did get the Pilot Sport Cup 2s, which are some of the absolute stickiest tires I have ever felt on a car. So here she is. I know I've showed you guys before, but this is her, race red. Somebody in the comment section on last video corrected me. I guess there's right around 650 of these so far. So it's not the rarest option. The blue is actually going to be a little bit more rare than the red, but it is a fairly rare car. So let me know what you guys think. These are already red. In the factory, these come blue. So this is red. The spoiler, he put the red overlays on, red one over this, and then obviously red on this side. Now, like I said, the only thing that isn't red on the car is the calipers. If you guys think I should paint those, you'll have to let me know down in the comment section, because in my opinion, it does look a little weird, and I'm kind of thinking about changing it. So I'm sure there's some of you guys out there that are detailing masters and know your way around a car. For some reason, I don't know if it was the drive back, but whenever I feel the paint, it's very like grimy. It feels like there's like a lot of imperfections in the paint. And then I'm gonna try and find a spot to show you guys. But there's all these little black spots. I don't know if you can see through the camera. It might not be able to pick it up, but there's a lot of black things on the paint that I'm not sure how to get out. So if anybody has suggestions on detailing, we did do a full wax on it. We haven't clay barred it yet, so that might be the next step. But if you guys do have recommendations on what to do, please let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, now that I got my GoPro all set up, it is time to go on a POV drive. So here we go. All right, so I'm gonna let the car warm up for just a few minutes. There's a few things I wanted to go over. Over here on the left, there is a button you can press right here, and that puts the car into sport mode suspension. Now, if you do decide to put it in sport mode, the ride becomes absolutely unbearable. So I typically put the car in sport mode. I don't know if you guys will be able to see down here, but there's actually a drive mode button. Now you press this, pops up on the screen, drive mode normal, and then I pop it over into sport. I leave it in sport with the soft suspension because, like I said, the sport mode suspension is absolutely brutal. I'm sure if you guys drive an RS, you already know that it's very, very rough. And then the car also does something funky when you're sitting at stoplights. The motor actually shuts off, and I believe it's to save gas. So over here, there's a button. You press this. As soon as you press that button, the auto stop on the motor turns off. Well, without further ado, let's go drive this beast. I'm gonna let the car warm up before we get on it. So some of you guys in the comments were asking how many miles the car had. I bought the car used with 1,300 miles, and now since we had to drive it back from Arizona, the car sits at 2,475. So I've put a little over 1,000 miles on it. 800 of those were highway miles, but the car was broken in before I took it on the highway, so no issues there. Now once you put the car in this sport mode, the exhaust becomes a little bit louder. It pops and crackles just a little bit. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear that. I know the GoPro has fairly crappy audio, so I will be upgrading that in the near future. I'm going to turn onto this road up here, and hopefully I'll be able to do a pull for you guys. It is about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock now. So the traffic is going to be a little bit thicker. And then I also got a few comments asking what I think about the RS compared to the Fiesta ST. Now I drove the Fiesta ST for about 6 months, and to be honest, that car was a lot lighter on its feet. It was a lot peppier. All right, and here we go. This is going to be a first gear pull. This car is fast. I had a lot of questions down in the comments asking me to compare this to the Fiesta ST that I used to drive. Now I drove the Fiesta ST for about 6 months before I sold it to get the RS. And if I'm being 100% honest, I think the Fiesta ST was a little bit lighter on its feet, a little bit more fun in the corners. But this car gets a lot more traction. It's way quicker up top. So with this car, the gearing is going to be a little bit longer than it was in the Fiesta, so you don't feel like you're going as fast, but when you look down at the speedometer, you're definitely going a lot quicker than you would be in the Fiesta ST. So if you're looking for a good level entry car, I would say the Fiesta ST is all you're going to need. This car is incredible. It gets a lot more looks than the Fiesta, but as far as a driving experience, the Fiesta is just an incredible car. It handles well. It's very, very peppy. Even though it's only got about 200 horsepower, the gearing is so short on them, it feels like a very fast car. I honestly miss the car a little bit, but I am ecstatic to have the RS now. The driving experience overall in the RS is just a lot better. It's a heavier car. It feels more planted. When you're going around corners, you get a ton more traction. I'm sure the tires on this car help with traction too, obviously. But this car is just awesome to drive. I'd say if you have the money, the Fiesta ST and the Focus RS are my top two. I really like the Focus ST, nothing against the Focus STs. The two I've driven, they didn't do it for me. I feel like the Fiesta ST was a little bit peppier than the Focus, and the Focus RS is just an all-around faster car. So I thought I'd tell you guys. I'm sure some of you guys haven't driven the Fiesta ST, the Focus ST, or the Focus RS. If you guys have a dealership or some friends that drive any of these, I'd say test drive them before you pull the trigger, because the Fiesta